Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 62 of our Supersize Your Business annual challenge. First annual challenge we've done here in the business community, but it's actually the 9th year in a row that I have done in my personal development and growth communities an annual challenge. So we've done lots of annual challenges before, and as I get older, I want to simplify and merge what I'm doing together. And so instead of just doing the Supersize You annual challenge, doing the Supersize You annual challenge for personal growth and development, and the Supersize Your Business annual challenge as a trial, as something new here for this community. But today and all this month, our focus is on money or financial health and well-being. That's the 9-part life framework that I teach on and use and have since the pandemic. Since 2020, I've been teaching a 9-part life framework because thanks to Dean Graziosi, that's another story. That's about the 7 whys. But thanks to, I was thinking Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, and Jim Rohn, I adopted a 7-part life framework back in the 1980s. I think it was the very early 1980s. Could have been 79. It was the summer of 79, I think. I was in Valley, Nebraska, and got sick and ended up in the hospital. And so I was introduced to late night infomercials. Thank you to Tony Robbins and Princess Diana's funeral. So whatever year that was. Wedding. Oh my gosh. Shame on me. It was her wedding to Prince Charles. It was on late night television. Go figure the things that we remember. So today we're talking about the importance of having financial security before we start to build wealth and accumulate wealth. Now, we all start our businesses with the intention of making money, providing for ourselves and those we love and care about, other people, whatever our vision, purpose, principles, mission is. It's different for each and every one of us. Mine is always to make the world a better place in some way, shape, or form. But before I can do that, I need to know that my business is going to be healthy and okay through all the bumps and bruises and things that happen, right? If you've been in business any amount of time, and if you're listening to me, you probably have been, you have been through at least a few of these cycles of booms and bust, right? Where everything's going really, really smoothly, and then all of a sudden the bottom drops out of it. And so you have to figure out or make changes or adjust accordingly. So that's happened to me, of course, dozens and dozens, if not more than dozens of times in my life and in my businesses. The biggest for me personally was my sudden cardiac arrest. And I learned from that episode experience that, number one, I'm very lucky to be here. And my perspective about the stuff that happens in business and in life now is so much more laid back and different than it was before that event. Because before that event, everything was the end of the world and a catastrophe and devastating. And I was making decisions and choices out of desperation because several areas of my life were really, really messed up back then. And now I make my choices and decisions out of a sense of what's the best thing to do right now? What is the best strategy to follow? Because I have a 6-month cushion built up in all my businesses and in my personal life. So if anything comes up or anything happens, I'm not desperate. I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'm not worried about what if the shoe drops, etc. So my question for you today is, do you have an emergency fund for your business? Do you have an emergency plan? We're going to talk about that probably in communication. If not, we're going to create one. You're going to create one because it's so important for our sense of security and our ability to seize opportunities, to make choices out of what is really best for the business, what is best for us as an organization, what is best for the people that we're here to serve, instead of, oh my God, we got to make money fast because we're in deep trouble because we've got this big expense coming up, things like that. The more we can get away from those type of decisions or those type of reactions, guess what? If we're coming at sales from that perspective, our customers know that, or our potential customers know that. Even if we're not saying, if we're saying and doing all the right things, that underlying tension and energy comes through. Ask me how I know, because I've been there. We've all been there as we're building and growing. And, the whole fake it till you make it, it doesn't work. People can see right through it, especially nowadays. So today, all we're going to do is look at, and if you don't, okay, number one, do you have an emergency fund? Yes or no? Put it in the comments below. And if not, please share why not. There's always a reason. I dipped into my personal emergency fund to help my kids out with a legal situation. And I'm perfectly okay with that. But as soon as I got done helping and figuring out what the amount deficient was for 6 months of my living expenses, I'm now putting that money back a little bit at a time until it's back up to the 6-month level. Why? Because I know how I make decisions personally and professionally out of a sense of lack and scarcity versus a sense of, hey, I got this. I'm good no matter what. This is my security fund. And it's just like insurance. We need to have insurance, and we're betting that nothing's going to happen. And the insurance company is, of course, betting. Well, the insurance company is betting nothing is going to happen. We are betting something is going to happen. The same is true of our emergency fund. And when we've got that emergency fund, we know we're okay. I used to have to dip into our work emergency fund all the time. The van would break down. We'd need new tires, whatever it was. We would pull that out of the emergency fund, take care of the problem immediately, and then right away we would start funding that emergency fund till we got back to the 6-month level. I'm talking about my Italian food business because that's the one I had the longest. And the decisions I made based on what was going on in the world and businesses then were based on, all right, we're good. No matter what, we've got this cushion. We'll be okay. And that gives you this whole sense of peace of mind. It's kind of like when I worked in corporate America. I worked in corporate America, but I had a couple of businesses going on the side. So I could make better decisions and be more myself in corporate America than any of my peers because I had that security cushion on the back end, knowing that, hey, and actually the last job I had in corporate America, the last time I got laid off, I did get laid off because the company got bought, and I knew for 8 months it was coming. So I had a plan and put in place and bought my sister out of our Italian food manufacturing business so I could just run it. And she wanted to retire anyway. So a story for another day. So what are we doing today? We're going to look at our emergency fund situation. If we don't have one, we're going to make a plan to have one. If you don't have one, I beg that you please open a high yield savings account today for your business and you start putting money in there. And you're going to say, oh, if you're with me, you're probably profitable, so you can do this in a heartbeat. You might be able to just deposit the whole amount today, which would be ideal, right? But if you can't, I want you to automatically start putting 10% of your profits, that's not that much, into that fund every month until you have at least, I'm going to say, people say a 3 to 6 month cushion, but I'm going to say, based on my personal experience in businesses, you better have a 6-month cushion, because what if a pandemic comes up, right? I'm going to say we all planned on that being a couple of weeks, and here it ended up actually impacting us for a couple of years. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people that it's still negatively impacting. And so we want to make sure that we have that. Also, have insurance. I'm not an insurance person. I actually think it's legalized gambling, but you got to have insurance. You have to have those things in place that give you enough peace of mind to make the decisions that are right for you and your business. I would love to have a discussion about this. Anybody want to chat about it? Hit me up. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.